our participants. So I think it will be good if others also get to hear from us. So let's give the opportunity to participants, and we know where they are connecting from and and what the expectations are.
All right, thank you so much, National Secretary Mr. Benjamin Kwash. At the moment, we will give an opportunity to our executive member for the National Executive Committee, Dr. Sumaila. Dr. Sumaila, if you're online, kindly share with us your expectation for the program and what you want to see in this very engagement.
Thank you very much. The National PR for ATAG. Once again, I will say we are very grateful for this program. And good evening to all colleagues on this platform. There are new trends, as Ben said, with the current happenings at the basic level. That's both the SHS and the primary. And there are a lot of things going on as far as the new curriculum is at stake. TTL, together with GES, are doing their best, and PLCs are running. But when it comes to the subject areas, when you go to the schools, you can see that most teachers are lacking. So when ATAG initiated this initiative, some of us were very happy and we are going to embrace it. And I know today workshop, we are going to get a lot understanding about the new curriculum as far as art is at stake. So that when you are an art teacher, you are teaching the arts at the field, you can bring out your chest that yes, indeed, you are teaching with the new methodology. You are going in line with all the things that the curriculum is talking about. And I know today's workshop is going to highlight much on how we as art teachers can embrace this new curriculum and make it ours. Because everything about this curriculum is centered on creativity. And we are the host of creativity. Thank you very much. And I know we are going to enjoy the workshop. Thank you.
All right, we thank you so much, National Organizer, Dr. Smaila. I can see that our first vice president of ATAG has also joined us. Mr. Nyamaro Nave, Honorable Nyamaro Nave has also joined us. And so within 1 minute or two, our vice president is also going to share with us his expectation for the program, and then we can comment, and then I'll hand it over to the host so that we can finally begin the program. Mr. Nave, kindly share with us your expectation for the program so we can proceed with it. If you can hear me. All right, I think our vice president is not responding, and so without wasting much time, I think we have spent some few minutes engaging ourselves and then getting to know the expectation of the program. It's right about 7:30 is the time. And so I'll hand over to the host so that the program will commence officially. And so our host for today's workshop, that is sensitization on the new curriculum and the matters arising, is going to be hosted by Professor Usweni Kwekwesel. And then we have our panelist, Professor Francis Eric Ishen, and the presenter is going to be Dr. Kwame Bunsu. And so I'll hand over to our host, Professor Usweni Kwekwesel, our national president.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking over there. Just as you have said, we're going to start our webinar series today. And so far as this new curriculum is concerned, it is our duty as a subject-based association to acquaint ourselves with the new features of this curriculum, the subject combination, as well as the progression. So we now have two major subjects. How did we get there? And so we have brought this evening two key panelists, and others are online, they are going to join. So our presenter tonight is Mr. Kwame Bonsu. Mr. Kwame Bonsu has been a lecturer for 22 years at the Department of Painting and Sculpture in Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. He is a practicing sculptor, and he veered into other subject area. Besides, he has been an achievement examiner for WAEC for some time, and he is going to be our key presenter. It will interest you to know that Mr. Kwame Bonsu was the chairman of the Curriculum Development Committee when we met in developing the curriculum. So he was the chair of the panel that developed the curriculum, which we are going to engage with today. Again, we're going to have one of our panelists, Professor Francis Eric Ishen. He's also a lecturer at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and he was part of the curriculum development, thing that we did at different venues just to help this one come to fruition. So he's also online with us, and we have Dr. Mante, a former ATAG national president, is also with us. He is also a member of the Curriculum Development Committee. And so tonight, the members that we have brought I think they are the right people to be brought here so that you can interact with them. You present and then they interact with them, because they are part of the cooking of the curriculum. I'm not going to take myself out. I was also there in the development of the curriculum. So tonight we're going to listen to Mr. Kwame Bonsu share with us. He's a senior lecturer. And once he's done, please feel free to ask questions based on the presentation that you're going to listen to or going to hear. So please mute your microphone and just let's keep mute and listen to our presenter, Mr. Kwame Bonsu. Honorable Kwame Bonsu, here is your people, ATAG members, and we are here to listen to you. Thank you. Okay, so you're on air now. Go ahead.
Yes, okay. Good evening, colleagues. I am very honored to be asked to share my experiences so far as the new curriculum, the Art and Design Curriculum is concerned. What we are going to do is that I'm going to take you through the processes and the thoughts that went into the crafting of the curriculum. And through that, maybe you all come to appreciate what's at stake and what you are supposed to do to make it as successful as it is supposed to be. Next slide. Yeah. I'm a proud member of ATAG, and I think it's my responsibility or our responsibility to come back to members and share, especially when a gigantic change like this is coming. For being stakeholders in Ghana education, especially with art and the importance of art within the Ghanaian curriculum, I deem it an honor to share ideas with you. What we are going to do is that I'm going to go through the process of opening up what the curriculum is about. And somehow, for store, there's some apprehension in the air that seems to suggest that there are going to be some job losses and redundancies within the system because of the number of courses that is now going to run. To do that, I'll review the curriculum that we are using now. Then and the features of the curriculum so that we understand what is going on and how we can make it work. To do that, as I said, we are going to look at our curriculum, which dates back to 1987 or so, review it, and give reasons for the type of curriculum that we have. Then what went into the crafting of it, the features of the curriculum, and the place of the art teacher within the entire process in the new regime. I think it is very important that we all get to the same page and understand that the entire enterprise of the new curriculum, the entire enterprise of the new curriculum is on your shoulders. And whether it will succeed or fail is dependent on the way we handle it. So, so I'm going to go, this is the outline that we are going to go to. First, the curriculum review, reasons, then all that. Slide. Yeah, so if you look at the curriculum that we are using now, there is this idea of to make art a vocation. Art has never been a vocation. The idea of vocation is brought into art. The idea of craft is invoked, especially in the late 18th century when the art and craft movement came. What they did was invoke the idea of craft. So art has never been a vocation. It's an intellectual enterprise that needs to be looked at from that. The crafters of the old system looked at it as what do you call it? As a hands-on activity, a vocation that can be learned in a certain way that's quite similar to the way it's been learned outside the education system. Yeah, the understanding was that if, like even in the present one, that idea is being mooted and we fought it to a considerable extent, that you can't tell me that if an SHS graduate finishes SHS and he did art, then he can go and practice as an artist. So what happened to the science student who falls out of it? Does he also go and practice as that? So there was this understanding of art as a vocation that if you cannot move beyond it, then you have to, then you can go and practice. Yes. The way it was crafted and the number of courses that were unleashed on the student made it that you cannot take any other, what do you call it, any other elective or any other courses that would redirect your path in case you don't like the art and you like to do something else. You have between 3 and 4 subjects plus your core, that makes it 7. And if you add one more, which is the Ghanaian language or something to it, then you are in your 8. There's no way that you can redirect your path into anywhere. So then it became so that people that are doing art don't have any source of knowledge outside the art that will come to enrich the art. So it developed the idea of myopia within the discipline. The vocational nature of the art was also such that it was set in its own ways. There's a way that art is done, there's a way that textiles is done, there's a way that almost everything is done, and it's taught like that. So new trends become a problem You don't know what is going on outside in the outside world. Then what became even more problematic was that when students finish, the graduates are not able to practice as the promises, the curriculum promises. And when they go to the university, what they are supposed to have learned, they could not even rehash them, let alone bring new things. So, and there was this idea of being critical in the sense that the way we observe, the way we look at things, and the way we understand things, and the way we consider things were not there. So, and also the curriculum is old. It's almost 40 years old. So there have been some tweaking here and there. There have been the Jofusanamwa and almost all the reviews that came into it. But I think it was time for a new pathway to be set, to be done. So when the opportunity came and we were invited to share, we thought that it came at opportune time because there were things that were happening in Ghana around this time with artists like Yatuko Eklote, Ibrahim Mahama, Teresa Nkuma, who are using non-traditional artwork. Their works cannot be said to be painting or sculpture or even textiles. But these people are the ones that are they are the movers and shakers in the artwork. And they came from Ghana. So we thought that, look, these ideas are ripe. They are all over the place. And the opportunity has come for us to look at it and change it. Yes. Next slide. Yes. One more thing is also that because of the way it was crafted, it became something like, it became ethnic. And I say colonial, ethnic in the guided way, such that only people that can do art are art students. If you do not offer art fully, you cannot do art. The best you can do is to go through GK, and people were not going through it. People that were not art students, especially the sciences and business people, were not into art. If you see somebody from business and science doing art, it means that they failed in their places and they want a way to enter the university. And they will go and do some GK and one or two things somewhere, and they will enter the university. And they have no interest in doing it. They just want to come to the university and come and do whatever they want with it. Yeah, so as I said earlier on, all these limitations create myopia, and graduates were not aware of current trends. And look, talking to so many people, even teachers, when we started this curriculum process, some of the things that we heard about the fact that we are trying to infuse certain ideas, foreign ideas into the curriculum, and so many other things. There were things that are going on that, look, even some of us in the university took some time for us to be aware of the changes that were coming. When the world changed in 1989, 1989 was a watershed period. At the fall of Berlin Wall, the quench, the Chinese, what do you call it, the Tiananmen Square massacre, the groundbreaking exhibition, Le Magicien de la Terre, in that showcase African art and change the way African art was perceived. We were not aware. We came to know it about 10 years or 15 years afterwards. And the things that happened in between, it was in that process that Eranatri became Eranatri. So we thought that, look, there were things that were happening that the idea of painting, the idea of sculpture in traditional sense has accumulated more weight, has accumulated more trends and more styles and more so many other things to it that we need to look at, especially if we are going to train somebody that will mature in, let's say, 2035, 2040. then we have to look at it very carefully, because there are so many things going on that if you're not careful, we'll leave our children behind. I remember I asked somebody that, look, what is the average knowledge that every child in the world is supposed to have right now? Let's say 15-year-olds are supposed to have, 16 years are supposed to have, 17 years are supposed to have. They are supposed to know so much. They are supposed to know the ICT. They are supposed to know so many other 21st century skills and competencies. They are supposed to know so many things. So when the opportunity came, we thought that it was ripe for us to look at it and change so many other things. Yeah. So, and also that when they come to the university, look, I don't want to denigrate anybody. They are brilliant SHS students that came to do it. Ibrahim Mama was SHS student, brilliant guy. And some of those people, they come into the, initially, he was supposed to do science. He chose to do art. Maybe he felt that his calling was there. He moved from science class to go and ask somebody in the art class who wanted to change, for him to swap with the person so that he could go and do art. So there are so many people that are doing art, did art, and they are doing what? All the people that are excelling, from Seja Tukwe to Amwakobuafo, to all those people, they are SHS people. The A-level people did their part. These people are doing their part. And I think we believe that we can do much, much, much better. That's why we are looking at it from that point. When they come to the university, look, the average art school has attrition rate of between 85 and 88%. The people that finish art school and go and do art is around 13% globally. Ghana is lower. So if you have people that in those places, people actually have passion for art and they go into art school. We were talking to one professor from Germany, and he said in their school, the attrition rate, the survival rate for people finishing school and going to do art is around 12%. And some the people that turn out to do art are the people that you don't even expect. So we thought that, look, even if the person is going to do anything else, the person is supposed to be excelling in it. Yeah. So we look at the curriculum, look at it, and we realize that it has been a long head, because what happened was that when we were called, some of these ideas have been thought about for a very long time. If I have a publication of rethinking materiality in art in Ghana secondary schools, and some of these ideas were mooted in there. That look, today the artist is a cultural interlocutor who pulls out things from the culture from different places and bring them up into the exhibition space and make it work. We can look at non-orientable in cancer by Ibrahim, where shoeshine boxes were collected and brought into the exhibition spaces, where sewing machines were brought into the exhibition, where juice sacks that have been used have been brought to the, where Astraja Tukule brought Kufuor gallons. And so these are cultural interlocutors who understand what the object means in their culture, what it means globally, and how they can make it speak to the global audience, and so many other things. So we looked at it and realized that, we look at the curriculum and realized that in crafting the 1987 curriculum, art was not treated fairly. Not treated fairly in the sense that when somebody wants to be an engineer, it doesn't start engineering at the secondary school. When somebody wants to be a medical doctor or a pharmacist or biochemist or even a physicist, somebody wants to do physics, they don't start the physics in the secondary school. So it was not fair for the framers to have make it look like you can do textiles from secondary school, and when you don't pass, then you are with it. I didn't hear them say that when the physics person doesn't pass, he can also go and do whatever we want with it. But for art, it was like when you don't pass to go to the university, you can go and work with it. So we thought that it wasn't fair. Yeah. There's also got like one subject was opened up into 9 different subjects. 9. 8 practical courses and 1 theory course, GKA, making it 9. Please, I've not done with the previous list. Yeah. Yeah. So Hello.
Yeah,
so yeah.
Go on, please.
You are moving fast. So you are
Okay.
Go back one slide, please.
Okay.
Yeah. One more. Yeah. Yeah. So we realize that because of the numbers, it wasn't because of the vocational nature, it wasn't popular. Because of the numbers, students were overwhelmed and could not add anything to it. Then what is even worrying was that we took 15-year-olds and we committed them to art for the rest of their life. So somebody brings a child to the school, sometimes head teachers force the person to go and do art, and that is his life. So it became problematic. Then also the curriculum became outdated and those things. So we can go on forward, please. We can go to the next one. Yeah, it wasn't available for visual art students. Yeah. Next slide, please. Yeah, so what were we supposed to do? So initial thoughts about, in 2022, we were invited to Elmina Resort. That was where the idea of the new curriculum was being mooted. And we were asked to think about what art could be if given the chance. So the initial thoughts were like, what can be done? So the first thing we thought about, the fact visual arts is okay, but it's not inclusive enough. It's not inclusive enough. It only look at the ocular nature, the visual part of it. It doesn't look at the other experience, the utilitarian and so many other things that comes with it. The performance, the performability, the performance part of it. Even when you take the idea of dress, the dress has to perform some function and so many other things. There are so many other things that the visual did not address. And also in global context, the idea of visual art is going away, and we are looking at art and design as a new nomenclature. So we thought about it, and we decided that, look, based on the course that we have, if we take the course that we have at SHS right now, it is only painting and sculpture that are final. The rest are even design oriented. What you call industrial arts and all those other things are design oriented, including graphic design. So even if you weigh it on a scale, design outweighs the art in a certain way. So then we look at it and say, okay, then we should look at it from that particular point, because there's so many other people that will take it and move to different level. Next one. Yeah. So the proposition two, the second proposal we made was that the visual art course, the art and design that we are proposing is supposed to bring significant change. It's supposed to be about visual thinking, talk about design, visual communication, visual culture, and fine and studio art. So the thought process that goes into it, the criticality that goes into it, becomes the main focus of it. And the focus of the course was that it's supposed to foster creativity at the advanced level. The art and design course that we are also talking about is also supposed to be accessible to all learners at the SHS level. It should allow for integration of other subjects and create diverse pathways. Somebody can do art and go and do medicine if you want to. Somebody can do art and go and do aerospace engineering. If you want to do food science, it's supposed to be possible, because the numbers and so many other things are no longer there. All right. Yeah. Yeah, so the course is also supposed to allow students to explore different fields. For instance, if somebody is doing science and he thinks he wants to do art, it's supposed to be possible. If somebody is doing art and they think you can do 3 more science courses, it's possible. And it also is supposed to give access to students for a range of academic programs and career opportunities. So it's no longer somebody going to the school offering art and becoming artist, can offer art, become architect, can offer art, become engineer, offer art, become physicist, become whatever that he thinks this is. And overall framework is supposed to also bring in practices that are beyond the traditional. When we talk about traditional practices, we are talking about what we know. When we talk about ceramics, we talk about vessels. But there's more to ceramics than just vessels. Ceramic and pottery is more than vessels. When you talk about sculpture, it's more than what we have now. If you talk about painting, it's more than what we have now. If you talk about art, it's much more broader. It is possible for somebody to use textile, like as Ibrahim Muhammad did, and call the work sculpture, or as Elanachi is doing now, doing something solid and calling it textile, depending on whatever is sculpture and whatever he looks at it. So it's possible, but within the art itself, to use textiles to do painting, to use whatever to do. So the traditional segregation and the way they've been broken down have to be looked at. And students are encouraged to participate in so many other things. So thinking through the art and design, what became is that, look, I wrote that 1 is limiting, 2, 3 is a cloud, and 2 is a compromise for teachable manners. Originally, when we went to the when we went to Elmina, the idea that Ministry of Education and NACA had in mind was 1 art subject, 1 that will make it available for other non-art students, because they came to realize that the sciences need art to excel. Because now the idea of calculation, we've moved beyond that. We are within the creative space that science is supposed to perform. There's so many other things. So they needed art for the science students to excel. So the change was not even more about us. It was about the science people needed it and what we can do about it. So the proposition was that we are supposed to bring 1 subject, but we're able to come to a compromise that, look, 1 will not work because we have 9 subjects, and we think that you are not going to even give us timetable spaces for 2 subjects. So the best we can do is probably have 2, where 1 will be theory and 1 will be practical. So we're able to do that. So we look at the timetable and we look at the difficulty of collapsing those things. The rationale, for instance, was to declutter, to free space created by the vocational ideology in the 1970 visual arts program, and replace with 1 that engage learners. Yes, the goal was to, yes, as I said earlier on, to make the pathways available, make it available to, that was the goal, and proposed which were based on 2 essential programs here. Please, let's go on. Next. Yeah, we also thought that the form should be holistic and hinge on 3-legged cardinal areas. Areas. That's art theory, then 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional. And what we say 2-dimensional is that they are all in contemplative and literary experience. But when we talk about visual art, we are talking about art that we see. We talk about art that we use in different places, whether in worship, whether in our homes, whether in whatever. We're talking about all that, but basically we are looking at the theory that underpins it in the 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional as it pertains now. Next. Yes. So that holistic approach should look at the breadth of the curriculum. That the curriculum should be able to breathe and it should be able to recuperate itself. It shouldn't be limited by all methodology. We should also look at the type of instructions that are given about the design process, especially the design process. Then look at the instructional methods, the way these things are taught in our schools, and the area of assessment. How do we assess them? For instance, how does the child know that what he's doing is wrong, and does he have opportunity to do it again and learn through that and all that? So all those things were considered. Next one. Next slide. Yes. So we look at also proposition 3, the extension of the program. That is to make art and design, that's what we have, visual art, meaningful. The first thing is for it to provide the necessary support for STEM education in Ghana. Secondly, integrate it into the educational structure at the secondary school level, that almost everybody is supposed to do art and doing so help push science forward. That was the initial idea, but art will also have its points. So the art will have it, but it's also supposed to provide the extension of it, by extension, help science, math, and whatever to become what it's supposed to be. Next slide. Yeah, so this was a proposal. The proposal that we made is actually similar to what we have running now, just that it extracts common features and components in the 9 visual art subjects. First has to do with what provides inspiration for the art. And we look at art history, we look at art appreciation and criticism, we look at concept development, we look at drawing, we look at design process. Then we look at the creation, which are basically in 2D and 3 dimensions. So this was the proposal that underpin the entire design, art and design curriculum. Yeah, so we propose this organogram that art and design at the top, we have art theory on the left, we have art and design studio on the right. So we have art history, art appreciation, art criticism, drawing, and basic design, just like the GK has it now. Then we have art and design studio, which is 2D, graphic design, painting, whatever. Then 3-dimensional sculpture, ceramics, metals, and those things. Yeah. Next slide. So eventually, when we updated it, we had this as the curriculum itself, where you have art and design, the theory becomes foundation, then art and design studio stays the way it is. Then we have the art and design components, art and design foundation components, and art and design studio components, and the areas that we are looking at. If you look at the way it has been looked at now, realize that there's some slight change in the way we look at it. What actually happens was that, and I'll talk about it when we go on forward, that the new idea about the curriculum was that the titles were supposed to carry the student. The titles that comes with it supposed to actually exhibit or carry the activities that go on in the classroom as part of the title. So if you look at the way we look at it, from the art history, we have From the Caves to 21st Century, which is still art history, but different way of looking at it. Then we have art across time, then we have design history, then we have aesthetic criticism, and we have the world around that and making judgment. Then design for life, where the design processes, we have design thinking, we have color theory application, and we have relation of form, which is drawing. If you come to the studio, we have meaning and scope, we have material classification, professional practice and editing, thinking studio, fabrication and construction, creative projects, artifact production, and portfolio building. So these are the ideas that went into the curriculum itself. Next slide. Yeah. So there are themes in the curriculum. As I said earlier on, the curriculum is of thematic, and different subject would. Yeah. So Ghana Education Service, DACA, and even the sponsors wanted something that is unique to Ghanaians. So we were encouraged to brainstorm and bring new titles that would inspire learners to look at it. Yeah, so each teams describe activities that we completed in it, like Thinking Studio, which is mainly conception and ideation, or From Caves to 21st Century. We direct learners to journey through time and things like that. The activities in the curriculum are inherently local and Ghanaian, for Ghanaian children to relate and from where they will project to the world. So if somebody said that what ideas we have are foreign, then we'll come to that. But these ideas are inherently Ghanaian. Yes, let's move on. Yeah, so there's a way that the curriculum is also supposed to be unpacked. When we learn curriculum, there's a way teachers are supposed to teach the curriculum. So the activities that are in it have a way that they've been structured, the way that the class is supposed to be organized, and the way they are supposed to do, and what they are supposed to do with it. So, and these incorporate cross-cutting ideas, issues into them. Cross-cutting ideas like how do you teach collaboration? How do you teach 21st century? How do you teach this? How do you teach that? So it is how the classroom is organized, how the pedagogical exemplars have been crafted that teach some of this. So the cross-cutting issues are actually put into the pedagogy, and they also be put some in the assessment so that these things go through. Yeah. Then we have Ghana national values. We have national values, the ideas in Ghana that Ghanaians hold very dear. One is patriotism, one is integrity, one is respect, hard work, decency, friendliness, faithfulness, loyalty, honesty, and discipline. There are so many of them, but these ideas are also pumped into the curriculum. So if you open the curriculum itself, there's a part of it that has to do with 21st century skills and competencies, that these ideas, and it is the pedagogy and assessment that give birth to them. We also look at Jesse, which is gender equity and social inclusion. We'll look at 21st century skills. Let's move on. Next. Yeah, so if you look at the 21st century skills, there's a way that it's been crafted. There are things that, if you search right now and look at cross-cutting issues, there are about 8 to 10 of them that every child is supposed to know. The idea of genocide, the idea of gender issues, the idea of that everybody's supposed to, towards globalization, towards removal of borders so that people can move freely and all that. So these ideas have been combed into the curriculum. So you don't have to take like one period to teach it. Once they go through the activities, these ideas are unpacked onto them. They live it, they practice it, and it becomes part of their life. Yes. All right, next one. Yeah, so these are some of the cross-cutting issues, the way they've been crafted. Depending on the subjects that are learned, communication becomes part of it. Is the person able to communicate well? It's not just speaking English, it's about understanding and carrying your ideas across. It's about confidence, about critical thinking, it's about so many other things. So these things are also homed into the curriculum, that in the course of teaching, these things are coming up. I was looking at a video recently. It's a very popular video where somebody is being prosecuted, or somebody has taken God to court. And a pastor was asked, why does God make things difficult for people? And he said, look, I asked God for strength, and he gave me difficult things to do. I asked God for A, he gave me. So how do we do this? And they have to go through certain processes before they get some of these ideas. Okay, let's move on. So we get a slide that we go through, we see more of these ideas in it. And these are things that we want people to be. The student that we teach, we want them to have some of these qualities. And eventually, when we do our work well, they will have them. All right. That's one. Same thing, cross-cutting issues. Yeah. Next. Yeah. There's assessment strategies too. There are assessment for learning, assessments as learning, and assessment of learning. All these are critical. There are some that are assessed to know what the student knows and to give appraisal of it. There are some that are assessed so that the student will get to know where he is, so that he can learn more from it. If he gets it wrong, he can go back to it. If he's supposed to do more, then he can do it. So there are some of the assignments in it that are not supposed to be assessed as like marking and keeping marks in those. They are supposed to be assessed so that the student will get to know was I doing right? What can I do more? How can I learn more? And so many other things. All those things are put in it. There's also the idea of differentiation. The differentiation in the assessment and even the pedagogy is for the fact that we all know as classroom people that there are people in our class that are slow learners that will take time and need to be carried along. So as we prepare our assessment or as we prepare our lessons, we have to keep those people in mind. What are they going to do so that they get what the Shabrain people are going to get? If we assess also, we should also set limits that what can they do to also merit? What are we expecting from them to also merit some marks so that they can move on with their life. There's not everybody that can get A. There's not everybody that can get B. But what is it that somebody can do to get their 40s and 50s so that they can move on? Everybody's supposed to have a decent. There are things that if somebody knows, he knows so much, they cannot articulate it. What is it that we expect from the students? We are supposed to know all that. Yeah, so we also look at the assessment, we look at the depth of knowledge, look at the 4 tiers and how we are supposed to apply it. There are some of the things that I just recall. For as I was saying earlier on, there are some people, recall is okay for them. If they can recall, we will all be happy. In our class, if we ask them questions and they know, then if they can go to the next level, we always inspire them to move to the next level. But if they're able to do 1 or 2, then we should be able to look at that. Because look, if somebody cannot walk and it takes 2 steps, and he's done so much, sometimes they are clapped for. So there are students in our class that are going through some of these situations, and we are supposed to know them and make room for them so that they don't feel neglected. In doing so also, we shouldn't pull everybody down to their level. We are supposed to set work that task the higher brain people, then give works for the middle people and give this in for the down. All right. Let's move on. Yeah. So as at now, art and design is one of the 7 core subjects for the science and related courses. Art and design studio is an elective. How the students are going to choose it, there's a way. I'm going to share a slide with you that will show the picking of the subjects. It's going to be dependent on their interest. Mind you, we are not going to have traditional art students. We are going to have science people coming into our class. We're going to have people doing different subjects coming into our class. And they're not going to be artists. It's their interest that's going to inform the way they perm their lesson. We have some that will be doing engineering and they think they need art. Somebody will be doing architecture, they need art. Somebody will be doing so many others, they think they need art. Somebody will be probably going to do medicine. I think that because he'll be doing anatomy in the class, he will need drawing. So all those people will come into our classroom and we have to be aware of it. So what pathway or what the subject combination that will come with it will depend on their interest and the way they will look at it. Yes. So let's move to the next slide. Yeah. So if you look at this slide, you realize that
Mr. Abonsu, please unmute yourself. We're not hearing you. Unmute yourself. Thank you. We were not hearing anything, so if you can go back a little bit. Thank you.
Since when?
When this slide came.
Okay.
Where?
All right. Yeah, so yeah, if you look at the core, and we have Art and Design Foundation there. So for the first time, we have art being a core subject for some people. And then we have Art and Design Studio being elective. So depending on where the person is and how he's going to select one from the core group. The 3 or 4 from the core group, select 1 or 2 from the second elective one, select 1 from elective 2, and select 1. You have up to about 9 subjects, between 9 and 7 subjects to select. So the combination that will come with it is dependent on their interest, as I keep on saying, depending on what the person wants to be and how he wants to redirect his life for it to go. As at now, we cannot determine how they are going to select their things. They have to come through. But even the pathway that is there, the science pathway that is there, is not a traditional science department. They are going to be department, all right, but the department are going to be teachers. And the way they are going to organize the course they are going to teach. The students are going to be free atoms that are going to move between the courses and select them for whatever they want to do with them. Yes. Next slide. Yes. This year we had 503 students enrolling for the free SHS. So we have minimum about half of these people to teach, plus whatever we have already. So the idea there's going to be some redundancy doesn't even come up. The number of students that are coming, we probably need more people to help to teach it. Yes, and what I said earlier on, that the idea of art students or science students is going to be, there are some people that are going to pick only one science subject. Some people are going to pick 2 science subjects. Some people are going to pick 3 science subjects and pick other 3 subjects from different places. So there's going to be fluid in a certain way that the traditional idea of this student is offering art or offering A or offering B will not be there. Yeah. As I keep on saying, learners will offer 1 to 2 of the art and design for 1 semester to whatever. There's also one thing that we have to also be aware of, that we have different crop of people, the students coming to our class around this time. These are much smarter, sharp, and driven students which are coming into our class. And we have to be aware. And they are coming in their unprecedented numbers. We have to be aware that they are coming. As to how the thing is going back, schools have traditions. Over the past 10, 15 years, schools have built traditions on how their art is handled. That traditions, the facilities available and resources are going to be used, the cultures are going to be used to interpret this curriculum to begin with. Then as the time goes on, if there are new ideas that will come into the school, based on interest of students, new things will come. Yes. Yeah. If there's any idea, if there's any advice I would like to give, I would say that it is time to learn. Some of us went to school and we did textile. Some of us went and we did sculpture. Some of us went and we did painting. Some of us did graphic design, did A and B. Those categories are there, but they are not there. The way that this was, look, I remember when we were writing the curriculum and we made the mistake of putting traditional names into the curriculum. Our US made us to, the whole section was erased because we don't want anybody to think that he's doing A. We want the people to have some experiences that will inform the way they think about it in future. So it's time to learn. It's time to actually look at whatever is going to happen again, so that I'll be able to make this curriculum a success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bonsu, for the presentation. Yes, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. Fellow ATAG members, at this juncture, we invite your questions. So please unmute yourself and then ask the question, or you can use the chat to write the question. Please, to ask a question, you can raise your hand, use the emoticons, the icons to raise your hand, and then I will unmute you so that we can have some kind of silence there. Yeah, I can see Edmond has raised a hand, so I'm going to allow. Okay, so Edmond, unmute yourself and let's go. Edmond.
Yes, I have a question. My hand is up.
Okay, please, let's go, Jalilu.
Yeah, thank you very much for this very insightful webinar. I was lucky to be part of the selected facilitators for my school. We ended the facilitation program training last week, Friday. My question is with regards to schools that offer general knowledge in arts, as in the home economics departments, that is with the whole curriculum. They offer general knowledge in art. So this time around, will there be the opportunity for them to offer that of art and design studio, or they would only focus on the art and design foundation? Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Let me indicate that for those to respond to the question, Professor Eric Francis Ishen is online, so he also takes some of the question. Our presenter is also here to respond to the question. And if the two people invite me, I'll also respond to the question. So, Mr. Bonsu, the question is on the floor. The home economics people, which one would they take, foundation or studio?
Yeah, as they've been taken, I think the foundation will be the one that is, but as I was saying, they too will have problems because you are not going to have students that are home econ students. The students are going to pick their courses. If the person wants to do something beyond it, then they can pick the studio on it. And so if everybody is doing one person can say, I'm going to do two. I'm going to have take the two. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So if everybody is doing, if the course is recommending everybody to do Art and Design Foundation, somebody can say that on top of it, I would like to take Art and Design Studio. We'll have science people that will say that I would like to take the studio on top of it. Okay, so some of that part of the combination is going to be dependent on the students.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Joshua, please unmute yourself. Joshua Ajay Tete.
Okay.
After that, Mr. Justice Atta, you go, right? Yeah, Joshua, we are listening.
Yeah, my question is, I'm asking whether the tertiary institutions have been involved in this arrangement so that, like the question that just came before me, would the universities be able, so they will determine that, okay, these are the combinations that will allow somebody to come and do engineering or medicine? Because when it comes to the example that Prof. you cited, home economics students, they can have the combination of the GKA to go and do nursing. Would the nursing institution now say, okay, now with this curriculum or this new program, we can accept students who are doing design studio or another kind of combination? Are the tertiary institutions prepared to take the students.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chairman, please go ahead. Zain.
Yes. There have been wide consultation on some of these things, and the tertiary institutions are aware of the subject combinations that are coming. What is beginning to become clear is that a time will come that if you do not take art, it's going to be difficult for you to do engineering. Because of the nature and the way they think about it. Because engineering is not just about moving objects, it's about being creative also. About being creative. Those subject conditions are already in the tertiary institution, and they know what is coming. Yes. As to whether I can't speak to it. The home economics people, I can't speak to it. You need home economics people to speak to that particular subject. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Let me also add that Dr. Mante is also on the line as one of the panelists. So, Dr. Mante, please respond to the question. If the ADAP, please ADAP. Unmute yourself and ADAP. We want to hear your voice. Former ATAG National President.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. I guess you can hear me.
Yes, we can, my lord.
All right. Okay. Now as to whether the tertiary institutions are aware, we're starting this from 2024, 2025. Now, the first group of students will be entering the tertiary institution in 2028 academic year. And like Chairman said, it might interest you to know that consultations have already been put on the table. Now, tertiary institutions are also adjusting their requirements for intake. Now, going forward, there's also going to be one thing, because there's not going to be something like home econ student, art student, this student. One thing that this curriculum seeks to achieve is the fact that if a student should make a very good combination, the student will actually fit into at least 3 areas. That is, maybe let's say medicine, engineering as one, let's say the art, architecture as one, and then the social sciences as one. Also, like Chairman said, the fear that I did art, so I can't do ABCD. I did home econs. I can't do these courses at the tertiary. It's now being whistled away because I did such and such subjects. I did art as a subject. I did home econs as a subject. I did mathematics as a subject. I did this as a subject. That is what will be now looked at by the tertiary institutions. So I think between now and 2027, the tertiary institutions will be well placed in terms of whatever is happening at the SHS to be able to also craft new entry requirements.
Thank you, Dr. Mante, for your response. Silas Buzia, please, you are welcome. After Silas, work wise. So, Silas, unmute yourself and let's flow.
Thank you very much.
Please, if you can position yourself well.
Professor,
your line has not been clear.
Other on this platform. Looking at the new curriculum, please, hello?
Silas, if you can position yourself well so that it will be clear. Thank you.
Hello, please, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's better now, Silas.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. For the presentation, And from what I have experienced with this new curriculum, I would say it's a very good initiative. But one problem that we are facing, I'm in a school that is trialing the new curriculum, especially with the Art and Design Foundation and Studio. From what Doctor said, with regards to home economics students, if they will be doing Art and Design Foundation, but if the student is interested in pursuing or in adding Art and Design Studio, he said the student can do that. In our school, the problem we have been facing is with the timetable. For instance, if all home economics students have chosen a particular subject of their interest, which is in common to all, and just one of them choose another subject, which is an additional to that, the timetable has. So though students are allowed to choose subject that they like, in a way they are somehow restricted because of the timetable, how it has been designed. If a student choose additional subject which is not common to all others that his colleagues have choose, it becomes very difficult to cater for such students. Because you wonder, where will he be having his classes? At what time? Is it after the classes or so? It has become something. So I don't know if he can explain that to me, how that can also work, because we have been facing problems with the timetable. So it has become like, though a student can choose certain subject, but they are somehow restricted because of the timetable. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Chairman.
Yes, boss. Yes, sir. Yes. The subject combinations are such that you can choose between 7 and 9, sometimes even 10 if you want to. So there's going to be a way around it. Because of the way that the school has been organized for the past decades, there's the residual destiny within it, where what do you call it, home economics people are congregating together as home economic people, and visual art people are going together as visual arts too. But when it becomes full-blown ideas, then you realize that you can't be affiliated to a course. You cannot be affiliated because you are doing only 2 subjects in that particular place, and you are doing probably 2 in a different place. So you have to look at how those. So I think depending on the subject combination, timetables are going to be made available, and there are some of them that students have to learn majority on their own somehow. Otherwise, there's going to be a problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Mante, your
Yes,
any additional? Yeah.
Yes, I like what Silas said, but I must also say that now, as it stands now, even the school that have been chosen to do the trials are just doing the trials based on certain specific subjects. Like if you take art and design, for instance, both foundation and studio, it is now being trialed on only the art students. So the timetable for this particular curriculum or the implementation of this particular curriculum has not yet been implemented, crafted as it should be. You see, because now no other student from another department, as we have now, is crossing to take another subject. The science students are not doing foundation yet. The home econ students are not doing art and design foundation yet. Other people are not doing whatever yet. All right. So then there will be the need to recraft the timetable depending on how or what courses other students want to choose. And of course, the school now will have the honors task to look at how to craft the timetable to suit the individual needs. So it's not going to be a one size fit all timetable, but it's going to be a school-based timetable.
Thank you. We now move to Wise.
Prof.
Wise.
Prof.
Hello.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, Zin, it's quite a long time, and Dr. Mante, 8 years ago, I was in KUST. I met them. They are wonderful lecturers as well. I want to ask, before these things have been placed on, I don't know what we face in the secondary school based on the development in the studios. We have nothing in the studios. Most of the secondary school has nothing in the studios. So we have to improvise day in, day out to make our students feel the impact of art, especially when you go to the home economics department. I'm telling you, they are not prepared before coming. You have to suffer, you have to do everything. Sometimes your money must get in there. How are we prepared as a nation and as arts industry to host all this? Because when you go to the university, the materials are there, the studios are there, you are going to work. But coming down to the secondary school, you realize that we have nothing. The former how do you call it? Director General wanted to put in something like that. We were working on it before he was kicked out of office. So I want to know how prepared are we? How is the studio going to be expanded? Is government coming to do something on our studios and expand it before this program is being kicked off? Or we are still going to experience the same thing as we are experiencing now? Thank you.
No, thank you. Yeah, I call upon Professor Eric Francis Eshen to respond to this. Prof, we are listening.
Hello.
Hello, Prof.
Yeah. Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Prof.
Hello.
Hello, Prof, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
All
Prof.
right.
Prof, we can hear you.
All right. Thank you very much for the opportunity to join in this conversation. Let me say this. Most probably, it might not be the right platform to talk about this, but I want to believe that many of you bear witness, because my engagement with other art teachers from secondary schools talk about some supplies, basic supplies that the Ministry of Education sends to these schools. Some of them, the art teachers convert the papers, art cards to sketchbooks and sell them. The paints that are supplied, some art teachers share them among themselves or sell them to the students and other things. Now, going forward, these unacceptable behaviors, they have to change. Now, you made a point that unlike the universities, the secondary schools don't have anything. I can tell you for a fact that when it comes to my department, the department does not provide the students with anything apart from the classroom and tables and chairs that are in the classrooms. The students have to take care of everything themselves, buy everything. So it might not be true. When you go to ceramics, for example, in KNUST, the department may purchase clay in bulk and distribute. You go to sculpture, the students buy wood themselves. Go to Iran, the students buy the materials themselves and the tools themselves. The tools that are rare, the department may purchase it for the use of by the student. Now, but be that as it may, let us see it as a wonderful opportunity to see our Art and Design Foundation accepted as one of the core subjects amongst others. And we must praise, pat our shoulders back for that wonderful effort. Now, once Art and Design Foundation has been accepted as a core, I want to believe that any government, whether it's the current government or any other government that comes into power, may work at improving secondary education. And that may, by extension, go to resourcing the various laboratories, studios, spaces that are available. So let us be hopeful that the government now and future may provide some basic materials, equipment for use of students. But now let us look at what this new curriculum seeks to do. As alluded by the chairman and the first speaker, now this new Art and Design Studio and Art and Design Foundation is supposed to create a very wonderful opportunity for teachers to be innovative, for learners to be innovative in finding available tools, materials, equipment to practicalize their thoughts. I may share with you one or two things about the intent of this new curriculum. Now, this new curriculum is hinged on problem-based learning. That students should be able to identify problems, identify resources, and solve a problem that is given to them. So, for example, a problem could be posed that as young learners of design, your school is going to celebrate its 150th anniversary. As a design student, identify the contribution that the Department of Art and Design can contribute towards the celebration of the anniversary. Now, this is a problem-based approach question. Now, the students are supposed to discuss in groups with their teachers available design solutions that the student could lay hands on. The students in groups of their teachers are supposed to identify materials, tools, and resources. So as I have posed, now one group or a student can decide that as I have learned about logo design, my interest will be to design the 150th anniversary logo for the school. Another student may decide that I am going to do a signage using plastic bottles. Another student may decide that I want to do a sculpture piece using fabric, cut pieces of cloth to do a sculpture piece. Now, so you realize that the students are going to identify the problem and be innovative in finding a solution. So in such a context, what kind of materials can the Ministry of Education provide the schools? It's going to be practically impossible. But the ministry will have to look forward in providing basic tools, equipment, materials that could be the platform upon which the learners explore their intents. So let us be hopeful and believe, trust the process, that we have not come this far to fail, but we've come this far to succeed. All hands should be on deck. We must accept the new idea that has been proposed. It hasn't come that easy, and the effort that is going through in developing material resources for the teachers and the learners. So let us be hopeful. I just want to admonish you all to be hopeful about the new program that is going to be introduced. We may find some challenges initially as we attempt to roll it out, but notwithstanding, the curriculum has been developed such that it is robust, and over time we will be able to implement it successfully. So I just want to allay every fear that one has. Is it to be possible? So thank you very much, and I hope to come back when I follow on to respond to another question. So
I'm going to definitely call upon you. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. We now go to Justice Atta for the question. From there, we'll go to Atanga.
Hello.
Yeah, Justice, please, let the question flow.
Yes, please. Thank you for the opportunity and thank all our facilitators for the wonderful work done. My question is, now that this one is about to be rolled out, are there resource materials available, or is the teachers that are supposed to research and get their documents or resource materials for the learning or for the teaching to take place when it is rolled out? Thank you.
Prof, you're welcome. Are there materials available? Have you bought the materials already? Tell us.
All right, thank you very much for this opportunity again. Now, let us assure every facilitator that the ministry, in conjunction with NAT and TTEL, are doing everything. Now, we have developed the teacher's manual, which I want to believe that every teacher now has a copy of the first year. Now, learning materials for the learners are also being developed, and hopefully by September, it will be up for the learners to use. Everything is being taken care of. There wouldn't be the problem where we cry on top of the roof that there are no textbooks, there are no textbooks. There are more than enough textbooks available that you can lay your hands on. The yellow CC is there. It has not been phased out. They are developing new learners resources. So we are on track to implement the process. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Mante, you'd like to add something to this?
All right, yes. Another thing I want to add to what my big brother, Professor, said is that aside the books, the manual, and then the textbooks, one novel thing that has been added to the implementation of this curriculum is the DPLC, that's the Departmental Professional Learning Community, where now teachers will meet every week and then develop the learning plan for 2 weeks, discuss the learning plan, and within that time, teachers who have certain kind of, let's say, weakness somewhere will now be able to discuss their weakness, especially while developing the learning plan, so that others who are stronger in those areas will put them up. So unlike previously, where it is one man in his cell or one woman in her cell, now it's going to be a cooperative something. So it is not just about the books or maybe the links, but now it is also going to be, there's also going to be some form of discussions to equip the teacher with much knowledge and much skills before they even move to the classroom to teach. So the resources are numerous. I mean, there are a lot of resources have been made available, both in discussion and in print and electronic. Then the last one I want to add to is that NACA and the ministry are developing the knowledge hub. There's a technical name for it. I've forgotten to, but there's a knowledge hub where now you can go for as much ideas and as much information as possible. And I hear
microsite.
Yes, thank you. The microsite. Yeah, it's even accessible without data. So now there are so many. I mean, there are lots of things that will help you teach in terms of resources. That teaching is now going to be fun, but I know with time it will be much more fun. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now, add that So far as teaching and learning material is concerned, the writers of the curriculum chronicled a litany of materials and tools, equipment that are needed for smooth implementation of the curriculum. And so once they have been listed, we hope that the ministry is going to provide them to every school, as well as state-of-the-art studios for a better implementation. So we are not saying that, yes, everything is in line, but we're saying that if you pick the curriculum, and even if you pick the teacher's manual, all the basic equipment you need, we have listed it with the idea that it will be provided by the stakeholders, the government, as well as the students who will be bringing some materials to work with. Because if they don't bring it, working is going to be a difficult. So for this curriculum to work, it takes the responsibility of us, the teachers, as facilitators, the government, parents, everybody's hands should be on there. Because it's a very wonderful curriculum that if we all bring our hands together or our efforts together, that is the only way we can implement this curriculum successfully. Let me go quickly to Atanga to ask the question.
Thank you very
much for the opportunity. My question is, I think I have a problem with, or I'm confused on the subject combination. I'm told that those offering elective mathematics will not be allowed to choose core mathematics. So my question is there a way that our students, those offering Art Design Studio, to also choose Art and Design Foundation? That's my question.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman.
Yes, sir. What we brought is the science pathway. Then we have other pathways that is not going to be like the non-science pathways. And the art, if you choose art, you are going to be within the non-art pathways, and you have to do science, you have to do mathematics. The additional mathematics listen, the additional mathematics is for the science students. They don't have to do that and come and do math on top of it. They have to do only one math. That's the reason why they've given them only additional mathematics. But the people that are going to do math, and when you're going to do math, you do that. I don't know. Dr. Mante, help me there. I'm going up.
Yeah, Dr. Mante.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
on the other hand, yes, on the other hand, there are some daring, I'm using this word daring for emphasis. There are some daring students who might want to do, maybe a person has chosen the art pathway, but he feels that I want a higher form of mathematics. So I'm doing additional mathematics. All right. Now, one of the things we want to, or one of the things this curriculum seeks to avoid is undue duplication. All right. So we don't see why somebody doing chemistry, physics, biology should come and do how do you call it? Should come and do general science.
Yeah, core science. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, core science. Thank you very much. Yeah, and then in the same way, somebody opts, aside, apart from the science, somebody who takes science pathway, if somebody opts to do additional mathematics, then it means you are even doing a higher form of mathematics. So then there is no way, or there is no need for you to come and do the mathematics, the core mathematics, if I should label it so. The core mathematics is seen as more or less a lower form of mathematics. Right. But coming to the design studio and the design foundation, anyone who chooses the art pathway will have the design foundation as one aspect, and then the design foundation and the design studio as another aspect. That is what makes you become a member of the art pathway. But a student can also, from science, can also opt that, fine, I want to, aside Art and Design Foundation, I want to choose Art and Design Studio. as well. And so that will also be allowed, but then it is not compulsory that every science student should take that apart from foundation. So that is how the combinations will be. I don't know whether I've explained myself a little bit.
Yeah, tried. Thank you. Now we go to Duke Arthur. After Duke, we move to Mr. Francis Achin. So I think we should take the two questions at a go, and then we respond to them.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I am teaching the Cambridge Art and Design already, so I seem to understand the new curriculum a bit. But I'm asking my question based on the assessments at the end in terms of for the studio base. Because the kind of output that we want these children to come out with will also mean a lot. Because when I look at my colleague teachers and the kind of artworks their students are producing for their final outcome, and some of them tell me they get very good grades, and I look at what the Cambridge students are doing, you can see that the challenge is the standards in the Cambridge curriculum seem to be a bit higher than what the old curriculum has. And because they have the segregation of sculpture, physics, sculpture, textiles, and those things, so it limits the kind of outcomes that this thing. So my question is, what kind of assessment is going to be at the end of the studio base?
Okay. Professor Francis Eric Eshen, what kind of assessment?
Thank you. The assessment regime that has been proposed for the new secondary education program is quite comprehensive. It's all embracing. We have the assessment of learning, assessment for learning, and assessment as learning. Now, we are looking at implementing different assessment strategies based on the task, based on the expected learning outcomes, the competencies level that is expected of the learner, and many more. Now, be that as it may, now the problem is not with the learner. The problem also is with the teacher. As a teacher of art and design, what are your expectations of your students? What do you put into their learning? How do you empower them to be expressive and full of competencies and skills in such areas? Now, the challenge will not go away now or tomorrow. It will be with us for some time. The issue now will be, now the interesting part of the work is the exhibition. We've not spoken of the exhibition. Now we've added a component, the exhibition component of the curriculum. So we are saying, and as part of the proposal, that the schools will have to mount an exhibition in the school. So as part of the proposal, we are asking not to now ask the schools to submit the works to WAEC regional office for assessment. Rather, the schools will have to use the student projects to mount an exhibition for everybody to see the competences level of the student. So if a teacher, you know that at the end of the program, you are going to mount an exhibition in the school where the itinerary examiners will be coming to assess, where your headmaster will have the opportunity to see the work of your student. You have yourself to respond to the queries that will come. So the assessment regime that has been proposed is quite interesting. And let me also be quick in adding that now we are going to intensify the transcript component of the assessment, where from day one that the student enters the classroom, the teacher is required to keep an update record of the student performance, of the student works. The works are not supposed, in a proposal, the works are not supposed to be given to the student when they are going out of the year. So the year one works are retained, year two works are retained, year three works are retained for verification. If the final year the student produces a work and an examiner comes up and the examiner has every cause to doubt whether the student did the work himself, the examiner can have the students, the learners' first year or second year records, sketchbooks, and documents to peruse to see whether the student did the work himself or not. Now, when the level of competence of the learners are not good, everybody will see it. It's not just the art teacher and the student in the studio, then they bundle the work to IAC. No, there's going to be an exhibition at the school, whether at the assembly hall or the art studios, throughout the term of vacation for visitors to the school to see. So that for us also will be an opportunity for the learners to improve upon their performance because their works are going to be exhibited. So these are many more that we have proposed, and I want to believe that over time it will be better. We may not get it right from the very first introduction, but subsequently we hope when we all understand the requirement and we apply ourselves to the task, we will be able to solve it. So be assured. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. We'll now take 4 questions at a go, and then the panelists will respond to them. Because of time is not on our side. Francis Achin, your question, please.
Thank you very much. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Mine is not actually a question, but it's rather a suggestion, a caution, and also we can also target as revelation. And I've put it under 3 main points. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I've put it under 3 main points. As now we are looking at our next step that has to do with how university is also going to adjust to this new curriculum. I think we should also lay much emphasis on the lower level because this new curriculum started with the lower schools with the idea of creative art. And I don't know how far that has gone and how the teachers are helping students to understand. As our presenter said, it wasn't fair. If you look at the the previous curriculum, for somebody to be 15 years in SHS, then all of a sudden that person is being challenged to do visual arts. I see that it is still not fair if you don't handle those at the lower level and also SHS, so that they will also come to SHS to adjust to. So being the pioneers, I think we also have to focus much over there. Then my next point has to do with some of the critical points stated, which condemns the previous curriculum. And I quote one which says that the graduates not critical enough for the 21st century environment, unquote. Then another point also said, stated something like myopic or myopia mind. And also the professionals are not all well versed in so much. But and the point is, within this same myopic mind, our presenter mentioned Ibrahim, he mentioned El Anafi, and you see that they all developed from, got most of this training from this old curriculum. So what was the magic that happened into their lives? So there's something that we have to look at it critical. If we think we are implementing something new, there's something. Now with this new curriculum, let us, connecting it to the 15th century. The 15th century. Let's take a look at Michel Angelo or Michelangelo. Michelangelo. Even in the 15th century.
Hello, Mr. Francis Acha.
Or a sculptor, Da Vinci, engineer, what was wrong? Hello? Hello? Please,
yeah, if you
me?
can position yourself well, the network was not favorable.
Yeah, my network is a bit disturbing. So if you look at even the 15th century, whereby we are able to tag Leonardo da Vinci as an engineer, a theorist, scientist, and sculptor, you see that, this thing is not anything new, but it is based on how we handle our individual subjects. As we limit ourselves, let's say painting, so he's a painter. But within this painting, if we are critical with our painting alone, you see that painting doesn't exist as painting. Painting exists in connection with science, in connection with in connection with this engineering. So this is some of the things that we have to critically look at, so that it will help the upcoming ones and also the new teachers to understand when we say art, what it means. As we normally state that art is life. If art is life, then it is not life in only painting. The painting connected to hereditary, painting, culture, painting. You see, this is how this traditional educationists establish art for us. But I think sometimes our attitude, the personal attitude, and some of myopic minds, as my boss, my lecturer said, these are some of the things that we have to look at. If not, this same curriculum will come and we are going to face a whole lot of problems. And the major challenge has to do with the history. And I'm happy history has been saved somewhere. But the history has to be more. History of art has to be more in this curriculum.
Yeah,
so
thank you. Mr. Ancha, would you like to wrap up a little bit so that the others also get the opportunity to ask their questions?
I'm trying to, and because this history, when we come to ceramics and textiles, we jump from the traditional history that we limit it to our culture with ATAG, Rabbin, and the rest, which will not help anybody to understand the beginning and the genesis of what even brought about textiles or ceramics in the global world. You see? So these are some of the suggestions and ideas that I have for this curriculum, which is very brilliant and great, and we should all embrace it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So, his was a suggestion. We now go to Andrews. Andrews, please be brief. Time is not an answer. Be brief. From Andrews, we go to Edmond, and then Mercedia, then Francis Akpabli. Just ask the questions so that we tackle them as a go. Thank you.
Thank you very much, bro. Please, my question is, what does the
art and design studio entail? Are we scrapping off the 8 traditional subjects, or the art and design is going to look at a particular subject and teach the child in that specific area? Please, that is my question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Edmond, here we go. Eddie, unmute yourself and let's hear you, or connect your audio so that we can hear you. Please tap on your audio, pick your phone, tap on the audio, dial in, so that we can hear you. Unmute. No, we can hear you. Please, we have a technical challenge here in Eddie. We move to Mercy, but Eddie will come back to you. Quickly do that. Mercy, come on, here we go. Mercy, dear, if you are at the hearing range of my voice, please ask your question.
Okay, Prof, thank you very much for this insightful presentation. My question is in line with what Edmond just said. I want to know whether when the new curriculum, with respect to the new curriculum, when it starts, are we no more going to have textiles teacher, graphics teachers? Are those ideologies no more there? And also, I want to ask that the teaching, is it going to concentrate only on the arts and creative design? Are we going to remove those teaching maybe textiles, sculpture, graphics, and they no more going to be those subjects being taught in the secondary cycle? I want to know. Thank you.
You will know. You will know. Thank you for coming. Francis, let the question go.
Prof, thank you very much for the opportunity. I have about 3 questions, but I'll make it brief. One has to do with our universities that train teachers, art teachers. Are they being streamlined now? As in those who will be coming out, are they taking them through the art design and foundation? Or are they still sticking to the individual 2D, 3D areas? That's one. 2, I know our workshop is based on getting our training on the PLC, now the DPLC about to roll out this semester. It's on building points. I'd like to know if our ATAG group has any plans or any workshops that are designed to assist the art teachers in this new field. Like we heard a lot of people talk about more information to help better the understanding and teaching of the area. If there is any workshop planned, that will help give us some points. You know, we have the mandatory points, the targeted, and then individualized one. Is there any plan for us to get, you know, to get points? Like this workshop you're having, for instance, if it was properly structured, we could help build CPD points for us. Because there are others online in time, I would like to restrict myself to these 2 questions. Thank you. Prof.
Analysts to respond to this, but let me start from the bottom. The one that concerns ATAG. And because I sit in the chair, the question is hitting me, so I have to respond to it. Now, in terms of CPD points, this training we are doing right now is personalized one. Remember, we were accredited with NTC, and later on we have to just go and renew, but we have not done the renewal. However, whatever we're doing right now, it is going to give you personal points. How do you get personal points? This training we're doing, we are charging no money. We're charging no money. But if you want to get certificates, the National Executive Committee, we are deciding, and then we'll give you data certificate. That is based upon how much we say you should pay. Then we'll send you the data certificate. Then you can upload it onto your whatever. And let me also say that the panelists have promised, and the association is also resolute that this event is not going to be a one-off event. Sunday, we are going to continue. It's going to happen, it's going to be recurring until we all get onto the same platform of understanding this, because we are in this together. We want, if you understand it, if our teachers understand the curriculum, then it will allay their peers and the implementation is going to be smoother. And so next week, we are going to continue. Next week, we're going to have a different presenter present on another aspect of it based on the conversation we're having right now. So that's where I will end. But I'm inviting the panelists to respond to the question of, are we going to phase graphic design off and other subjects and whatever? Are we going to leave, and how are we going to teach it? Two people asked that question. So I'll allow my panelists to respond to them. I'll go to Dr. Mante first, then I'll come to the chairman. Dr. Mante, come on, here we go.
Thank you very much. It's a very interesting question, but I usually ask myself simply, in our current dispensation, what would we call ceramics, or what would we call textiles, or what would we call sculpture? We realize areas have become very broad, right? And some of these areas, before a student can specialize so well, the student is supposed to have a wide range of background information, a wide range of background skills, and a wide range of background, emerging trends in the area of specialization. So what Art and Design Foundation and Art and Design Studio seeks to do is not that you are teaching ceramics as in ceramics, or you are teaching sculpture as in sculpture, but you are teaching art and then using these components. Whatever we've called subjects all along are in actual fact components of the visual arts. So you are using these components to teach those things. And so we are not going to have something like textile department. We are not going to have something like ceramics department. We are not going to have this. But then if techniques in textiles is what you are going to use to teach the students, let's say fabrication in 2D or 3D, why not you do that? If techniques in sculpture is what you are going to use, yes. On the other hand, it also gives rise for us to now look at bringing in various ideas. I was just answering somebody who hasn't gotten time to ask a question, but typed a question. He was talking about leather work, and I said, leather is a material that can be used by all the components. All right. So then we are not looking at leather work as in leather work, but we are looking at leather as a material, and then the techniques in forming leather to fit into all other areas or the components of art. So the departmentalization, and then going forward, the seeming, how do I even put it? The seeming making sure that they specialize, or the seeming specialization will not be there, but then they will be doing art using these methods of making art as a way of doing the art.
Please, can you add something to it? Chairman Bunsu. Yeah, I assume Chairman is not hearing us. Professor Eric Francis, can you add something to
I'm
this?
here.
Oh, okay, then
I'm here.
Chairman. Okay. The question is, are we discarding sculpture, textiles, basketry, leatherwork? Are we leaving them?
Yeah, if you go into the curriculum, we use the idea of 2 dimensions and 3 dimensions. Then we list areas under them that are applicable. Textiles are in, leatherworks are in, jewelry is in, sculpture is in, painting is in, graphic design is in, All of them are in. I said in my slide, if you look at my slide, getting to the end, I said, look, schools have built cultures, traditions and cultures. And those are the ones you are going to use to navigate this new thing, new curriculum. So they're not going to be phased out. Look, when we said the thing was open up to 9 different areas, they were based on material and techniques. Those have become cultures within the schools right now. And those courses are seriously needed to interpret this particular the curriculum. So they are going to work towards it. Depending on the issues that is raised, whether it's 2-dimensional or 3 dimensions, we'll look at it. If it's 3 dimensional and it's weaving, we'll look at it. All those ones are part of it. Yeah.
Okay,
I also want
thank
to
you.
look at.
Okay,
Yeah.
go on. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, let me look at Andrea's myopia. When I used myopia, I didn't want it to be insulting. It wasn't. What I was saying was that because they were guarded into art and they don't have any opportunity for reading any other subjects outside it, all the ideas became art-centered. If the person is doing leather, it became leather, and nothing more beyond it. And we think we need more ideas coming into it. That's what I meant by myopia. It wasn't because of anything. That's what I meant. Yes.
Okay, Prof, would you like to add something little? Then we pick the last question and we draw the curtains down.
What I have to say is what I said earlier. The new curriculum is going to provide learners the opportunity to explore. Now, there are stakeholder meetings going on at the tertiary level to revise intake. So you realize that Faculty of Art, KNUST, will in future not be looking for students who do ceramics or picture making or graphic design to do communication design, but you did art and design studio, simplicity. Now, we must understand, as Chairman said earlier on, now the new secondary education policy or document is moving the secondary education away from vocational to grammar school system. And the vocational is for the TVET. So the grammar school system is the new secondary education policy, which is going to be implemented from September. And that one is not looking at student specialization, but students acquiring some skill sets, some abilities that they can leverage on in higher education to do something. So we must understand that we are not just throwing away the baby with the dirty water, but we will rinse the baby before we throw the dirty water away. So we have not abandoned any subject for now. No specialization is abandoned, but the departmental PLs, the professional learning communities, are supposed to see how they will deploy their skill sets in the new curriculum. Mind you, for Art and Design Foundation, it is going to be massive. If should we get a number of students opting to do art and design option. Now, what will the requirement be? You see the teacher who is saying that he is a specialist in ceramics will be called upon to teach Art and Design Foundation because he must have the competencies, because school has equipped him. School did not equip the ceramics specialist with only how to work with clay, but a teacher worth its salt should be able to understand the foundation of art and design. And the foundation is your understanding of how art was made or how design was made. who made what, at what point were they made, what were the influences of the society that caused the development of. So history or foundation is cut across, and every teacher should brace himself for the task of teaching art and design foundation. Because if we have large class sizes, we cannot handle them more than 100. And that will mean that there will be subgroups. The teachers and the schools will have to find a way of managing those classes. So no teacher will be redundant or will be asked to look for a new school. What the new curriculum will do is give teachers the opportunity to explore their talent the more. So one teacher is not going to say, me, I'm a leather specialist. You are a leather, you do communication, you do graphic design, you do jewelry, you work with clay and you see something. So nobody is going to be redundant. Nobody is going to change school. Nobody is going to stay out of the issue. Everybody, all hands on deck. We will all deploy our skill sets in the various areas to make the program successful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I can see why some other people laugh and they say, hey, it will be hard. Though. It not will be hard. We will do them. We will do them together. Yes, time is fast spent, and I really appreciate your effort. It is 9:40. People are sleeping already. In fact, we stayed there almost more than 2 hours. I think we've done well. And I like the participation. Let me say that I personally render unqualified apology for the limited number that the Zoom can pick. Next week, we are going to just, subscribe to the one that can pick 1,000 people. So please, we are going to share the link so that we will all,
share the link.
But before we go, let me try. Let me try to see if I can do a recap of what has happened. In fact, today our presenter has shared with us the key features of the curriculum, the basic features. He has also taken us through the progression, and then we touch on the subject combination, how the subjects are going to be combined. And then we learn that now students can pick minimum of 7 subjects and then a maximum of 9. And in the extreme cases, 10. But maximum, what NACA expects is maximum 9 subjects they can pick. And now, for the first time, art has become a core. The Art and Design Foundation has become a core to those who are going to do the sciences. I think this is a wonderful thing that we are pushed, and then the creative arts are the down. So little by little, we are going to get the arts at the top so that we can influence creativity and other things. Again, we have also learned that the 9 subjects, sculpture, basketry, jewelry, graphic design, painting, textiles, have been dwindled, have been reduced to 2 subjects. One is called Art and Design Foundation, and the second one is Art and Design Studio. We no longer call them visual arts. Yes, so they are now Art and Design. So the difference is foundation and studio. Now, we also observe that what he shared, what we called content overload. Because of content overload, that is what made us squeeze them into this form. Content overload. For example, he rightly mentioned that when it comes to this subject like sculpture, painting, it is the material. We focus on the material to divide the subjects. But if you look at the global trend, now even those who introduce those subjects are no longer doing that. What they are doing is combining, just like the one teaching at the baccalaureate, told us that they are implementing that curriculum, And so now it has been dwindled. So another thing, when we're developing the curriculum, and as your leader, as your chief servant, and all the people who developed the curriculum were ATAG members, we were concerned about redundancy, that are our people going to lose their jobs because of this curriculum? And the response that we got from the powers that be is that no, we are not going to lose our job. So we should allay that fear. Nobody is going to lose his job because the subject has been reduced. We are rather going to do team teaching. if you are skillful in this area, you add, and then you come and handle it, you come to handle it. And then again, now that the art foundation has become a core, it means that your expertise will be needed in other science subjects or other areas, well, other than only than the art. So it's not going to be only the art. You're going to teach, because it's moving like the English, the maths, becoming a core. So our people are not going to lose their job. Should it come to that point, we will still behind you. We'll be behind you. And if we have to call for a press conference to air our views on that, we are behind you. So please, government is not ready to lay anybody off. He will not even lay anybody off. We can assure you. Thank you. And then again, based on the questions that somebody was asking if the universities, art training universities have addressed themselves with this. Yes, NACA, the director has had a wide engagement with the VCG Ghana, that's Vice Chancellor's Ghana, as well as the universities, so that the universities are also going to fine-tune their curriculum, modify it to get to these changes, so that together we all move on that same pedestal. And then let me also say that based on the critical questions you are asking here, time is not going to allow us to ask all of them. So please put it on the ATAG national platform. We are going to compile all of them and do what we call FAQ, that's frequently asked questions, and answer them and put it on our website so that our members will have access to them. And then together we can learn fast on this new trajectory that together we are all going to move towards. So without much ado, let me say that I am I'm super excited for your participation. And I am very thankful to our presenter, the chairman himself, the Zane, and Dr. Mante and Professor Eric Francis Eshen for devoting their time. I cannot share my joy and happiness for they are not taking anything. They are members and they have dedicated themselves. And next week, same is going to happen. We are going to give you a new aspect of the curriculum. All we're doing is to unpack it so that together we all understand and move further. Thank you so much. May God bless us all. Enjoy your night.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof.
Have a good night as well.
Thank you, Prof.
Good night to everybody.
Sit tight.
Dr. Mante, I'm coming back to 15 years ago. I'll see you.
Good night to everybody.